The monster uprising was the day I lost everyone. Only a small fraction of humanity survived and moved underground.
Love and Monsters is imagined as a post-apocalyptic adventure that blends heartfelt romance, creature-filled action, humor, and emotional growth into a surprisingly uplifting survival story. The film opens in a world forever changed when a global catastrophe causes ordinary cold-blooded animals to mutate into massive, deadly monsters. Humanity is pushed underground, retreating into bunkers and isolated colonies while the surface becomes a dangerous wilderness ruled by giant insects, reptiles, and creatures beyond imagination. From the very beginning, the tone balances danger with warmth, making the apocalypse feel terrifying yet strangely hopeful. At the center of the story is Joel, an ordinary young man who survives the collapse of civilization by hiding underground with other survivors. Unlike hardened fighters or fearless warriors, Joel is defined by his fear. He is not physically strong, not particularly skilled in combat, and often feels like a burden rather than a hero. Years after the monster uprising, Joel's life has become routine and small, confined to tunnels and reinforced walls. His greatest weapon is not strength but emotional honesty, which quietly shapes the film's heart. Joel's emotional anchor is his memory of Aimee, the girl he fell in love with just before the world ended. When communication radios suddenly reconnect distant survivor groups, Joel learns that Aimee is alive and living in a coastal colony hundreds of miles away. This discovery reignites something inside him that has been dormant for years. While others have accepted survival as their only goal, Joel begins to believe that life must be more than hiding and waiting to die. All logic and advice. Joel decides to leave the safety of the bunker and travel across the monster-infested surface to reach Aimee. His decision is not heroic at first. It is reckless, emotional, and driven by loneliness as much as love. The surface world is immediately established as vibrant and deadly, overgrown with lush vegetation and crawling with dangerous creatures. The contrast between beauty and terror becomes a recurring visual and emotional theme. As Joel ventures into the open world, the film leans heavily into creature encounters that are tense yet inventive. Each monster feels unique, with its own behavior and danger level, reinforcing the idea that this world is unpredictable. These encounters are not just action set pieces but learning experiences. Joel survives not because he is powerful, but because he adapts, observes, and learns from his mistakes. Along the journey, Joel meets unexpected allies who reshape his understanding of survival. He encounters experienced travelers who have learned to live above ground, using knowledge and cooperation rather than fear. Through them, Joel begins to grow not by becoming fearless, but by becoming brave enough to act despite fear. These interactions provide humor, mentorship, and emotional grounding, reminding the audience that humanity still exists even in ruins. One of the most meaningful relationships Joel forms is with a loyal dog he rescues along the way. This bond adds emotional depth to the story, representing unconditional trust in a world defined by danger. The dog becomes both a companion and a mirror, reflecting Joel's own vulnerability and capacity for care. Their relationship reinforces the theme that love and connection are forms of survival, just as powerful as weapons. As Joel continues his journey, the film explores the psychological effects of isolation and trauma. Flashbacks reveal the moment Joel lost his parents during the initial monster attacks, explaining his deep-rooted fear and self-doubt. These memories are woven naturally into the story, showing that Joel's greatest battle is internal. His journey becomes as much about confronting grief and guilt as it is about reaching Aimee. The tone of the film remains balanced between humor and danger. Joel's inner monologues and awkward reactions provide levity without undermining the stakes. Comedy emerges organically from character moments rather than forced jokes, making the world feel lived in and emotionally authentic. This balance allows the film to explore dark themes without becoming overwhelming. As the distance between Joel and Aimee closes, the film challenges the idea of romantic idealization. Joel has spent years building an image of Aimee as his reason to live, but the reality of who they are now may not perfectly match his memories. This tension adds emotional complexity, suggesting that love must grow and adapt. Just like survival, when Joel finally reaches the coastal colony, the reunion is emotional but grounded. Aimee has changed, becoming stronger and more independent through her own survival experiences. Their connection is real, but the film avoids portraying love as a magical solution to all problems. Instead, it presents love as a motivation that pushes people to grow, take risks, and face reality. The climax of the story brings Joel face to face with his fear in a powerful symbolic confrontation. Rather than defeating monsters through sheer force, Joel succeeds by trusting his instincts, protecting others, and accepting responsibility. His growth is measured not by how many enemies he defeats, but by how he chooses to act when fear no longer controls him, the resolution emphasizes. Emotional maturity over fantasy fulfillment. Joel realizes that love does not mean abandoning who he has become or forcing others to fit into his past. He makes a choice that reflects growth, respect, and self-worth. This decision transforms the story from a simple romantic quest into a narrative about identity and independence. Visually, the film presents a colorful and imaginative apocalypse. Overgrown cities, flooded landscapes, and creature-dominated terrain create a world that feels both terrifying and strangely alive. The monsters are designed to feel integrated into the environment rather than random threats, reinforcing the idea that nature has reclaimed the planet. The imagined release positions Love and Monsters as a genre-blending film that appeals to a wide audience. It combines action, romance, comedy, and emotional storytelling without relying solely on spectacle. Its strength lies in character development and heart, making the apocalypse feel personal rather than abstract. The trailer is imagined as energetic and emotional, showcasing monster encounters, breathtaking landscapes, and intimate character moments. It hints at danger and humor while emphasizing the theme that love can inspire courage even in the most broken world. Overall, Love and Monsters is portrayed as a hopeful survival story about facing fear, embracing change, and choosing connection in a world defined by chaos. It reminds the audience that being a hero does not require perfection or strength, only the willingness to move forward despite fear. By blending adventure with emotional sincerity, the film delivers a story that is entertaining, heartfelt, and ultimately life-affirming, proving that even at the end of the world, love and humanity can still survive.